The year is 2017. The Nintendo Switch has just hit the market while simultaneously 93% of the elderly in the US are still achieving their mobility goals with Wii Sports. Nintendo is on the cusp of tapping into that 80 bajillion unit sales record with a modern follow-up, but they didn't do it. Instead, 1-2 Switch is the chosen launch title set to show off the Nintendo Switch's innovative functionality that will shatter gaming paradigms with incredible features that will undoubtedly be used in many games. Flash forward 5 years, hardly any of those features are used. Nintendo wakes up from a nightmare where they set fire to a mountain of money. In a cold sweat, frantic phone calls are made and wheels are set in motion. It was time for Nintendo Switch Sports. Dive into the role of a fashion-focused multi-sport athlete ready to make their debut on the circuit of 6 high-intensity competitive games. Start out crafting your humanoid avatar from your limited collection of cosmetics. Or you can import whatever mutant you previously created in the Mii designer and have that awkward visage pasted on a much more realistic body, creating a brand new Nintendo homunculus. Now you're ready to take your monstrosity into various matches and learn the ropes of this new adventure. Start out with one of the classics, bowling, where now instead of just simply slamming some balls against the greased up wood for 10 frames, you face off against a small army of players in multiple elimination rounds. Here you'll bowl just like in the classic, but instead of letting go of a trigger and potentially embedding your Joy-Con into your television screen, you maintain your grip the entire time and the ball releases on its own. In reality, you're bowling just like every other red-blooded American grandpa, but if you suck and end up at the bottom of the pack each round, you're kicked to the curb and told to get good and try again. If you've ever wondered what Rocket League would be like if you took away the cars and made everyone run around on a gigantic pitch with a still massively oversized ball, now you can live that dream with soccer. Take to the grass with an intense 4-on-4 event of 8 people chasing the ball around and wildly swinging their bodies at it like drunken kung fu failures until it randomly flies into a net. Leisurely stroll from one side of the field to the other, occasionally pressing the dash button to move 20% faster until you run out your stamina meter and are forced to be miles from the action until the match ends out of pity. You can also strap this garter belt to your leg and throw a Joy-Con in there to do a shootout competition with real kicking that works sometimes and definitely won't have you slamming your shin against a coffee table. Another classic making its triumphant return is the back-and-forth shouting sport of tennis. Here you'll once again be relegated to the fantastic magic of doubles tennis where your frontline partner is a ghostly digital apparition. Technically you control both your character and their digital doppelganger, but really all you're doing is timing when to best flail your controller arm to have the nearest person smack the ball back across the net. However, your flailing can be honed to return the ball in the direction you desire and even with spin if you have the dexterity. You may not be able to S-curve the ball like it's possessed by an evil spirit like in Mario Tennis, but you can at least look like you know what you're doing. If you're looking for a menage a quatre with 4 actual human beings, look no further than the worldwide ball-bouncing phenomenon of volleyball. Here you can participate in the rhythmic dance of bump, set, and spike with all the associated motions that you would expect from a Joy-Con encumbered hand. You can even maneuver your character in the front line to block opponent spikes right back in their face. All you need is a teammate that doesn't suck and you'll volleyball waltz your way to victory. If you've ever felt like you can make a competitive sport out of pool noodle lightsaber duels, Chambara is the event for you. Go head to head on a platform elevated over a pool and beat the ever-loving shit out of your opponents with a foam sword until they fall off the side. All you have to do to stop the onslaught though is hold the block trigger and put your sword perpendicular to the strike. The powerful impact of foam on foam will temporarily discombobulate your opponent, giving you the chance to unleash a flurry of deadly blows on their oversized head. But if you want a real one-on-one challenge of net-based tactics and precision accuracy with a weird little ball on a windsock called a shuttlecock, it's time to check out Badminton. Despite the fact that you're standing in a box barely larger than a couple of parking spots, you'll be running all over the court smacking this weird object as hard as you can and watching it gently sail over a nipple-high net for your opponent to attack at their leisure. But don't let the strange aerodynamics and tiny court fool you. You'll have to employ all of the intense directional and misdirectional tactics of sending shots fast, slow, high, and low to keep your opponent off balance. Why hit the shuttlecock hard when you can love tap your way to good times? Once you've played 10 rounds for an event, it unlocks the Pro League where you can shed your amateur classification and start playing to rank up in the classic system from E to A. Now you can finally face off against people as dedicated to badminton as you've always imagined you could be. Watch out though, you might come up against me with my unstoppable D- rating. While the nature of competitive sports should be rewarding enough on its own, we're also blessed with the glorious grace of cosmetics. These can be used to beautify and accessorize your character, as long as it's not a horrific me creature. But they can still use the clothes and various sports equipment you collect. You'll even unlock more words for your title so you can create unique banners for everyone's enjoyment. Nintendo Switch Sports. Nintendo is finally getting back in the retirement home market. As we crest the peak of the Nintendo Switch life cycle and start our mild descent to the back half of games that only have to sell themselves rather than the console, we're starting to see more of the mainstays on the system. This one feels like it was always supposed to be here, but now that it is, I think it will find success with people of all ages for years to come, especially when they add golf at some unknown point in the future. Then there will finally be sports for all children, middle-aged men, and grandmas of the world to come together in cutthroat ranked competitive events. That's why I'm giving Nintendo Switch Sports the abbreviated score of good. If you'd like to see more hot takes, warm satire, and tepid commentary about video games, make sure to subscribe and check out my other abbreviated reviews.